Chapter 3. Voice for Victory. Expect you're cursing that servant of yours. The voice of Daniel's fellow officer continued in their criticism of the lower class. Servants are what they used to be. At one time of day, standing by the tent opening, Daniel glanced about at Lieutenant Joseph Forrester as he laid out various personal belongings on top of the bed. Still choosing to ignore his remarks, Daniel again turned to look beyond their canvas living space. He stared out over rows of identical tents, packed neatly together across the field. Weaving between them moved the usual daily flow of soldiers on and off duty. In the bright morning, the camp now gleamed. He took a further step outside, fixing the canvas flap back on itself. Folding his arms, Daniel indulged in a breath of fresh, clean air. His idle fingers played with the folded towel over his shoulder. In relaxation, Daniel stood, bare-chested. His braces hung loose about his thighs. With his patient stretching and his companions chattering, Daniel looked out on each of the possible figures picking their way between the tents. None of them resembled Bill. Forrester was right. Certain oaths were forming in his mind. His absence is hardly surprising, said Daniel, pausing on the tent's threshold. Say what? Nothing. Where is he? Muttered Daniel, pacing back and forth over the tent threshold. At one time of day, Joseph Forrester repeated his opinion, suspicious that he was being ignored. The fellow would have been dismissed on the spot. Daniel dragged a fingernail over his chin's growth. The stubble was annoying him. If there was one thing that Daniel did not like, it was the discomfort of stubble. The irritation of hair growth over his lip had quickly ended those experiments with the moustache. Daniel turned restlessly on the spot, pausing to fill his lungs with clean air left by the previous night's thunderstorm. They had returned to camp by 5 a.m. It was now almost 7 a.m. He had given Bill 2 hours to recover himself. He was now 10 minutes late with that hot water. The morning sun was bright and promised a warm day. The evidence of the night's rainfall was restricted to the damp grass staining the edge of his boots. Daniel again expanded his pleasantly aching chest. A private smile escaped from his lips. He felt well exercised. He thought of Eddie and his blonde hair. They had both given into that moment. Now the combination of the outdoors and bodily exertion raised his spirits. I expect Riley will be along shortly. Forrester was putting the last of his belongings into his valet's. Daniel watched him. Shouldn't your servant be packing all that away for you, Forrester? Jackson? Oh, I let him have half an hour to pack his own stuff. Now he is the right kind of servant. Does what he's told. That man of yours is a slacker. Sorry, Selden, but it has to be said. Daniel peered into his empty tin wash bowl, as if expecting a miraculous inundation. Don't you agree, Selden? Pardon? Forrester glared at the fact that his statement on servitude had been ignored. I said, the trouble with having a batman who has not lived in service is fraught with their proneness to slackness. Don't you agree? No, I don't. Daniel dropped his towel on the bed. Corporal Riley's ability is beyond question. Forrester's moustache twitched in disagreement. While a pleasant enough chap, Forrester had some ideas that Daniel thought extremely feudalistic. Willing his servant's appearance, Daniel hoped Bill would not prove him wrong. Forrester proudly combed his moustache before packing the comb away. Pausing in the study of his beard's growth, Daniel watched the mirror image of Forrester, with whom he had progressed through the cadet battalion. From his school days, the man was slim and athletic, but his features were rather bland. During those few short months of officer training, there had been a streak of competitiveness between them. This included who could first grow a full-blown moustache. Forrester had one in under 2 weeks. Unlike Daniel, he had kept the attachment, which did in fact suit him. Joseph Forrester had stepped into his military boots straight out of education. Younger than himself, Daniel thought Forrester had achieved his desired effect of looking some years older. Like many men, he kept the moustache as a method of gaining respect from older men under his command. Yet Forrester's views on class rigidity could prove a problem at the front if he continued to be pompous. Daniel hoped he would mellow for his own sake. It was important to have the men with you, not against you. He certainly had the potential to be a good officer. He just needed to grow and move beyond the schoolboy mentality. I've noted how you like a shave in the morning, Selden. What it is you enjoy, I don't know. I find shaving every day a bind. I guess I'll find it a renewal, Forrester. Daniel thought for a moment. A cleansing ritual helps me forget. Well, there's plenty of water left from my shave, Selden, if you want to help yourself, though it might be a bit lukewarm by now. Needing no further prompting, Daniel accepted the offer. Pouring the water into his bowl, he proceeded with the soap. Daniel peered at himself in the small, square mirror. He methodically drew the razor smoothly over his soaked jaw and began to hum a popular tune. "You sound in good spirits this morning, Selden," said Forrester. "I hope it's not a sign of your being glad to be rid of me." The blade poised in mid-air. Daniel searched in the mirror for his fellow officer. "No, not at all, Forrester. I had an enjoyable evening last night. A few drinks, and you know how I like to wander." "Oh, I know all about your wandering, Selden. So you went and found yourself a lady of your own, Selden?" Forrester beamed. "As I recall, when you left us at the Hotel de la Poste, you looked rather sullen. So you have betrayed that little lady of yours after all." "I have a vivid recollection of that photo you showed me. Maybe when we're both in Blighty, Selden, you could invite me for dinner, so I can see your wife is as pretty as that photograph suggests. But main thing, man, is you enjoy yourself. But discretion prevents me from asking further."